Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another exciting session where we talk about stocks and direct equity on Moneyfy. I am Sonam Punjabi from Tata Capital Moneyfy, and I'll be delighted to guide you through today's discussion. Before we jump into an insightful session, I have a fantastic news to share. All our Moneyfy users can now invest in stocks, IPOs, FNOs, and explore a lot more on direct equity directly on the platform. So now let's get into the good stuff. I am thrilled to introduce our guest today. That's Hardik More. He's a investment product manager with Dhan. Uh, Thanks for joining us, Hardik, for today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So today we'll be talking about one of the key tools available on the platform called Scanx. So Hardik, a lot of our Moneyfy users are constantly looking for, investment friendly tools for analysis purpose or just for portfolio management, just to be able to take better decisions, just to be abreast with information, what's happening in the markets. There are a lot of trends in the market. So if you could just guide us through that.
Sure, happy to do that. The idea of Scanx started with that. We wanted to build a product which was investor friendly. You can track a
Yeah.
lot of market insights, what's happening around markets, go deep down into your stock that you like, and while having a broader market sense as well. Keeping all of
Yeah.
that in mind, to build something which will give an edge to these investors and traders.
Yeah.
So just let me show you what Scanx Trade looks
Yeah,
like.
sure.
Yeah, it is on a separate URL. You go to scanx.trade to start using it. It's absolutely free, even if you don't have any account, right? You can just get right started with it. Once you are on the page, you see a couple of interesting things. So you have the section where you can track the indices for the day, right? A search bar, which we'll get to there soon, and a live market scanner section. All right. So live market scanner, we wanted to show whatever's happening on the market in real time based on what you want. So it might be a bullish signal that you are tracking for the market because you are a bull at the end of the day, or you're looking at a near low signal. So you know it's a good buying opportunity, right? And a lot more on this. Then there are a range of trending screeners and a lot of other features, but let me get more to live market screeners now. So here is the page where we scan the entire market for you in real-time basis. I can select what conditions are good for me or whatever I'm tracking. So let's say I track near low stocks. Whichever stocks are nearing the low, it gives me a buying opportunity there, or might be a signal to exit because I have already gotten some exposure to it,
Yeah.
right? So to bank on that and to get a scan of the market in real-time basis, this acts as very helpful. I can even select the uh, universe of these stocks. So ऐसा हो सकता है कि मैं निफ्टी 500 ट्रैक नहीं करना चाहता, मैं सिर्फ निफ्टी 100
Mm.
स्टॉक चाहता हूँ एंड वहां पे क्या एक्शन हो रहा है बिकॉज आई एम अ लार्ज कैप person who invests in large cap stocks, right?
Yeah.
So the real-time analysis of that. And as you can see Tech Mahindra appearing 4 because it is constantly hitting day high. So it's just
Okay.
generating for me there, right? So this helps me track markets on real time at a very real time speeds, right? Very low latency. So yeah, this is about live market screeners to start with to do your intraday trading specifically.
That's interesting. And so tell me something, Hardik. A lot of our investors would be new and they do not really know where to start from, whether I'm looking for all time 52 weeks high, 52 weeks low. Are there any predetermined screeners that I can look out for so that, it helps new investors or beginners to start looking at the dashboard?
Sure. Okay, so live market screener is one section where you track the markets live. But let's say you don't know which screeners you want. You have some
Yeah.
idea. Maybe I want to try some intraday screeners or anything like that, right? So we have a section called screeners where you can see a lot of pre-bill screeners. Now
Okay.
these screeners are very popular in Indian markets, right? And people do trade on basis of this. So if someone is looking for fundamental or technical or intraday, any of these things, right? So you can get a hang of it. For example, let me get you started with intraday screeners. Let's say I'm an intraday trader, and I don't know which criteria should I put to find those stocks where I can trade in intraday, right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking. I can look at the description of these. I can try these out and see if it works out for me or not. So let's say intraday super trend. Now, super trend strategy is a very popular strategy in Indian markets. It's based on an indicator, right? As soon as I click on that, it gives me a list of 237 stocks that I can see
All
here,
right.
which fit the criteria of super trend, where super trend is lower than the current price. So it's an opportunity for me to go long or buy this stock,
All right.
right? And we also take care of volume so that the volume is not on the lower side, it is on popular side. So your intraday trades can happen very easily with less slippage. So all of that is taken care of. And there are a range of intraday screeners, as I said, right, for intraday trading. If I'm looking for something on price and volume, right? Now, one of the important things, like people do track a lot of price action in the market and volume action in the market, especially with the increased volatility that we have seen in recent couple
Yeah.
of. So it again gives me a range of stocks or range of screeners that I can select. As you were talking about, how do I select 52-week high breakouts or low break?
Yeah.
There can be multiple conditions जो यूजर को लगे कि ये सही है या ये नहीं सही है. But we give you a template जहाँ से you can see, okay, maybe right now we don't have any high price stocks which is like trading on all-time high because again
Mm,
markets
yeah.
are, but maybe we'll have something on 52-week low stocks. So yeah, we can see low breakouts happening here. So uh, around that, there are around 10 indicators on price and volume itself. And you can obviously customize on basis of that. So there's a customize button. And on
Mm-hmm.
clicking, now you can customize these screeners. I'll will so that again becomes a filter again. I can select, let's say I want not low market cap stocks. So I can sort on basis of that, right? So it adds to that. Coming back to it, the third one is fundamental screeners, or yeah, fundamental screeners, right? So fundamental screeners, again, people who invest for a very long term, they get a good
Yeah.
sense what do they want to do. So someone who's looking for a quarter or 2 quarter of trade, they look for best quarterly results. Or someone who's waiting for a very long term and trying to find a multi-bagger, maybe a potential multi-bagger stock is something they want to search for. So yeah, couple of these screeners, templatized screeners are there which you can build on top of, ताकि any new investor or any new participant in market gets a gets some list of stocks जहाँ से वो अपनी investing journey start कर सके.
Correct, correct. But I also see technical screeners and candlestick screeners on the screen right now on the dashboard on the left, right? And a lot of customers, when they're looking at, building a portfolio and they want to look at slightly technical trends. So how can these screeners help them?
Right. So, yeah, great. So technical can be divided to two parts. Whenever people say technical, they jump to charts on the first
Yeah,
instance. Now, charts also has two things. एक होता है कि the candlestick that is formed,
yeah,
वो किस and the patterns that emerge from the charts. Okay. So
yeah.
the pattern part है, that is covered in technical screeners. जहाँ पे
Okay.
there are patterns are very popular indicators which is used.
Hmm.
RSI stocks. Stands for Relative Strength Index. It basically compares one stock to the entire index. Okay. So if I oversold RSI stocks, it is selling me stocks to RSI में lower end पे. So maybe these can be bought. There's a potential for a price recovery,
Yeah,
right? So like that, there are around 12 screeners and technical screeners, which I can use. For example, some very popular ones like R1, R2, R3 resistance breakout or S1, S2, S3 resistance breakouts. ये बहुत
yeah,
easily हो जाता है. यहाँ पे एक बहुत अच्छा रेंज बन जाता है. For if I'm looking at resistance stocks, I know यहाँ से price can dip down again, which is again written over here. So किसी को नहीं भी पता what is a R1 resistance stocks, they can just look at it and get a sense कि
yeah.
what
Yeah.
right? So one of this is in technical. Now coming to candlestick patterns, होता ये है कि some very well-known candlestick patterns are out there which were defined earlier by traders across the world. For example, hammers. So hammer जब भी
Mm-hmm.
होता है a possibility of a bullish reversal. Like वहां
Okay.
से might come down. So if I select on hammer, it actually searches all the charts of all these stocks and it gives me a list of stocks जहाँ पे chart पे hammer बना है, right?
Hmm.
So you get this list of stock जहाँ पे आपको सारे charts पे जाके analysis नहीं करनी पड़ी. You
Yeah.
directly जहाँ पे hammer बना था on
Got it.
yesterday.
So I don't have to go stock by stock to see a trend for this. I get a
Right?
detailed list of it. Great.
So it limits the part of manual effort which I'll be doing.
Yeah.
Because I know what is a hammer, but I don't know which stocks are getting a hammer, like creating a hammer. So earlier I used to go and see those particular stocks, check it out. Now I just get a list of it
Yeah.
and add additional parameters कि कुछ और चीजें मेरे को अगर करनी है.
Correct.
So all of that is here with this.
Got it. That's interesting, Hardik. In fact, the screen where you show us all the information along with text details given, it's very helpful for our investors also to themselves explore this because it is very intuitive platform in general.
Right.
So, Hardik, one very pertinent question. I can see that it is very exhaustive. It's a very comprehensive platform that you're taking us through. But sometimes what happens is that a customer gets slightly overwhelmed with so much information, right? Can I customize a dashboard for myself where whatever parameters are important for me or whatever stocks that I want to look out for, I only have a dashboard for that rather than going into, say, multiple trends and multiple screeners at the same time?
Sure. So let's create a new screener that caters to me. So let's say
So
I
we can customize a dashboard.
You can. So if I'm looking at a CapEx boost stock list, it's giving me 1300 results and it's a
Yeah.
like a simplified templatized screener. But if I want to add my own parameters, right, and make a screener where I have set my own conditions. For example, I don't want to look at stocks which have a market cap of less than 10,000 crores.
Hmm.
I just don't want any of these small caps to come in. So I'm
Yeah.
just out and reducing it to 147 stocks. Correct. Uh, Maybe add another filter like P ratio. Okay. So if I add a P ratio and I don't want to buy overvalued stocks, so it's a very
Yeah.
common P less than let's say Indian
Correct.
market,
Correct.
right? So it's further narrowing it down to 36 stocks, which fit my condition with a good
Super.
KPI, right?
Yeah.
What I can do more here is I can save this for myself. So as soon as I click on save, it asks me to add a name. So let's say good valuation apex, right? And
Yeah.
I can write
A description also for this.
so low PE, large caps, large mid caps with apex, right? And then I
Yeah.
have an option private or public, right? So I'll keep it to myself. I'll save it.
All right.
Once I can go to screens, and these are all my saved screeners here.
Okay.
Once I've saved it, I don't want to go anywhere else whenever I'm on this platform. I just log
Yeah.
in, I go to my save screeners, and I can check these stocks which I have this screen that I have created, and I can go back to further to my analysis from here.
Super. That's interesting, Hardik. So now, Hardik, say for example, in one of the screeners that you showed that I have gotten my list down to say 36 stocks. Now that I have a list of stocks that seem interesting to me, how do I do further in-depth study on these stocks now?
Okay, so when you're looking at these 36 stocks, maybe you don't know how much of these are actually sound, or maybe there are additional parameters I want to track, or get a sense of what company does,
Yeah.
right? So let's click on any of these. Let's click on Interglobe Aviation. As soon as I click on it, it opens the company page for me. So this company page has all the data that you're going to need for further analysis, right? So over here, I just get a snapshot, which gives me what's the market cap, what's the book value, P ratio is there, right? What is the P for sector over here?
Hmm.
One of the important metrics like return on equity, return on capital employed, I get a sense of it. There's no dividend yield yet on this, right? So it gives me a overview, and it also tells me Interglobe Aviation is an air transport service and it's basically an airline. It's basically Indigo. So it gives me an overview of that. I can also track charts from here. So over last 1 year, what has happened with this chart, with this stock price, I can track. And one of the most interesting things that we have added here is a peer comparison on price. So let's say I want to track it with
Okay.
Jet Airways or a
Yeah.
SpiceJet. I can see on a yearly basis, like where is Indigo, it's 90% above. SpiceJet is 70% above, but it's a very low price stock.
Yeah.
And Airways, which is negative of 40%. So the
Yeah.
stock
So
has,
maybe if I find the industry interesting, but still I can compare the peers in the same industry.
right.
Yeah.
And I compared with index. So example, how is Indigo performed compared to Nifty itself, right?
Hmm.
So 30%, but Indigo grew by 90%. So it is a
Correct.
high here.
Yeah.
See what other screeners do this align to. So it's near its 52-week high. It's near its resistance level. So there might be a reversal here. And then you get into the part where you see the financials of the company. So if you are a fundamental investor, or if you want to track what has happened to the balance sheet or what has happened to the P&L, you get an overview of that here, where you see the growth rate that the company has achieved on a year-on-year or a 3-year basis. And you now can see the entire financial results as a chart also, if you're okay. So you see trends over here. You see the 2020 dip because of the COVID, because it's a,
Yeah.
and then it further increased, right? So now it's all-time high around, right? So this gives me a visualization which makes it easier for me to compare a stock historically. उसका balance sheet कैसा था, उसका P&L कैसा था. Again, an overview of its P&L, balance sheet, cash flow, and the
Yeah.
share. So these are two things which help actually a fundamental investor understand क्या चल रहा है. For example, over here the promoter has increased its stake.
Hmm.
Sorry, decrease its stake, right? So
Hmm.
57 to
49.
is a decrease that we see, whereas DIIs have increased, right? So promoter decreasing is usually a bad sign, but DIIs have increased, so institutions have a belief in the stock, if we may say, right? And this is the dividend history. So how have they given out any dividend in the history? What is the dividend yield in that year? So that data also I can get, right? Now
Got
coming
it.
to what we saw above was the price change, how the price has performed in past years. But I can also see revenue कितना grow हुआ है compared to its peers in the industry, or
Hmm.
P ratio looking like, or any of these stuff, right?
So basically, I'm not doing an analysis in isolation. I'm also pegging it against its peers and then analyzing the details.
So I'm not getting blindsided by
Yeah.
it to broader market or something. I'm actually comparing it to the peers only. And I can then see the technical indicators if I'm interested in that, or the corporate action which has happened very recently, right? And with a single button, I can compare the peers on screener back in a detailed service. So it gives me air transport service stocks.
Hmm.
Now I can, so it creates a section where I can keep on getting deep into a sector or a particular stock with no bounds, right? So wherever I get my conviction, I know I need to get into this.
Got it. Pretty interesting, Hardik. So while this is very detailed explanation on one stock and what all parameters we can look at it, right? From. But now moving from say from a specific stock to macro trends of the market, how can we look at those in the screener?
Yeah. So we did realize that this is a big gap, right? So when
Yeah.
you're it's going to be top down usually, or it can be bottoms up very search for a company, but people do miss out on the broader trend that's happening. For example, how the institutions are doing in the market, or where the valuation of. These are some things that usually investors don't look, but it does have an impact on their portfolio or whatever they might be buying. That's why we have this section, which is called insights. Okay. So
Okay.
under a couple of things that you can track on a broader market level, जो आपको overall Indian market का health बताएगा, overall Indian market का big actions बताएगा जो भी इस market में हो रहा है. So over here, this is a heat map. Now, heat map is something
Mm.
which gives very concise view of the entire market. So यहाँ पे I have a Nifty 50 index open. I'll increase it to, let's say, Nifty 500, and it will give me the overall Nifty 500 stocks, right?
Got it.
The sizing is by market cap again, because market cap से पता चलता है index पे कितना impact आएगा या overall market में कितना impact आएगा. And I'll change the performance by day to performance by month. So this is the entire month performance that we are seeing here. Now we can see a lot of red here because of the
Yeah.
Nifty
Yeah.
recently. And now I can see, okay, how much has Reliance contributed? Let's say 10%. How much other smaller players have contributed? And one of the things I can do here is actually I can sort it by sectoral. So now I get ki which sectors have actually pushed market to the lower side. For example, IT software here does not look so bad. So it has a mixed
Mm.
up, be
Yeah.
like by -1 or 2%. But automobile or telecom
In fact,
or
banking also for that matter has been in.
overall completely led. So the bigger participants, HDFC, ICICI, जिनका बड़ा मार्केट शेयर है, उन्होंने काफी ज्यादा मार्केट को नीचे की तरफ वो लेके आए, राइट? सो दिस इज where the scenario changes, where I'm tracking the market on sectoral level in the overall indice basis. So I get a sense of market किस तरीके से नीचे ऊपर की तरफ जा रहा है किन stocks की वजह से. So maybe I'll avoid banking as a sector for now, right? But actually, let's switch to weekly and we'll see a different one. So maybe monthly it was down, but this week it is recovering on some level. At least HDFC is recovering, right? So I can track broader market. I can get a sense of what is happening in what corner of the market on a
Yeah.
price level. The next section,
Yeah.
which is very interesting for Indian markets, is FII. So, how much a foreign institutional investor have invested in the market or taken their money out, and how much of domestic institutional investors have invested or taken out. So, this I can track for last 30 days or any of the last 6 months, right? Whether they were July, mein, how was the trend looking like? It is very mixed. Like FIs were buying, then they were selling. DIYs were selling, then they started buying. And in this period, Nifty performed very good. So Nifty reached 25,000, around 25,000 for first time. Comparing that to the October month, so you see this down yellow bars, which are indicating that foreign institutional investors have been selling constantly, but the domestic institutional investors have also been buying constantly. But still, the Nifty is going downwards from 25,500 to 24,500 that we are seeing, right? If I want to see it in data, like how much actually उन्होंने कितना buy किया, कितना sell किया in crores, I can see that also. So over here, you can see कि buy and sell are higher figures, but net impact is zero. So the trading happened in markets, मतलब they were there, the action was there, but net impact was very low, right? So I get a sense of this as well. Now, this is cash market, मतलब equity में कितनी buying selling. But I can also
Mm.
look how is the future or options market doing.
Okay.
So whether the OI has increased or decreased, FIIs ने कितना किया, DIIs ने कितना किया. How is Pro doing? Pro is basically prop traders. How are they trading in the markets? And then clients, actually retail traders जो हमारे आप like
Mm.
how are they doing in the market? So वो net मतलब कॉल ज्यादा ले रहे हैं या पुट ज्यादा ले रहे हैं या कॉल बेच रहे हैं पुट बेच रहे हैं ओवरऑल मार्केट में आई गेट अ सेंस ऑफ इट हियर. So all of this is shows me market action in a day, right? The next thing is market valuation, which is very interesting for a fundamental trader. So होता ही है कि जब भी हम पी रेशियो देखते हैं ना, तो हमें किसी स्टॉक का देखते हैं कि बेसिकली
Mm.
प्राइस ₹100 चल रहा है बट उसकी अर्निंग साल की ₹10 ही है. But we don't track what is the overall market valuation. As in निफ्टी के 50 स्टॉक्स का प्राइस इतना चल रहा है बट निफ्टी के 50 स्टॉक्स का कंबाइंड अर्निंग्स कितना है एंड उसका
Mm.
रेशियो कितना. So we take out that over here. So I have Nifty 50 bank, financial services, and yeah, Nifty 50 bank and Nifty financial services, right? So I can see they trade in a particular range. जैसे Nifty हमेशा 22 से 24 के अराउंड है या 21 से 24 के अराउंड है. बैंक निफ्टी उसके नीचे है एंड फाइनेंशियल सर्विसेज इन बिटवीन है कहीं पे, राइट?
Yeah,
नाउ इफ 5 year horizon, it makes more sense कि markets are getting overvalued यहाँ पे थोड़ा. Given 2022 का 19 के around जो था, now it is trading at around 23. So there is some overvaluation in the market. P बढ़ गया overall. But banking and उसमें इतना नहीं बढ़ा. In fact, it has decreased. So these are still safer bets. Not just this, I can add any sector here. So let's say I want to add IT here. So I'll add IT and now I can see IT कैसा गया है. So I can see IT में काफी ज्यादा overvaluation आ चुका है अब. Whereas bank is still a good buy, right? So I
yeah,
get a good valuation here. Two other things that we have are very small but very important. One is bulk and block deals, right? So bulk and block deals से हमें ये पता चलता है what are the big people doing in market, what are they buying more of, right? So I can
yeah.
see over here, example, Milgri Finance had some investments or something happening, some action happening on a corporate level, right? Or City Union Bank, where there was some shift happening. They sold some shares, they bought some Zada shares. So I see there's some positive sign where maybe City Union Bank becomes a buy for me, right? So these bulk block deals happen on exchange, or are informed by exchange by the big players in the market. So I can actually track big money kya kar, right? And the next one is a FNO ban or market wide protection limit. This tells me जो stocks FNO में trade हो रहे हैं वहां पे कोई ban तो नहीं लगा. So essentially ऐसा होता है if there is over trading in these instruments, इन पे ban लग जाता है. So I can track that as well. And कौन से
All
stocks
right.
possible आने वाले हैं ताकि I stay away from them and I don't get into positions यहाँ पे.
Mm,
So all of these combined, maybe एक यूजर इसका combination बना लेगा. He'll track one or two or three, whatever he
yeah,
wants. And he gets a broader market analysis here or
yeah.
insight.
Absolutely. So stocks we've covered macro trends also, market level also. But tell me something, Hardik, that a lot of our users on Moneyfy, they manage their own portfolio, right? Can I place a request, order request, or add to wish list after I've done, a lot of analysis on the screener? Now I want to purchase or I want to add it to my wish list. Can I do it on the platform? Or do I go back to Moneyfy and done?
Yeah, so when we were building Scanx, the idea was to
Yeah.
have a place where I can manage also. And that's
Yeah.
why I'll just take back to one of our saved screeners. We did save good
Yeah.
valuation cable. Now over here,
Yes.
like Interglobe Aviation, right? So as soon as I'm above this, I can see a buy sell button. So I can direct
Yes.
from here. The order window opens. I add my order. It is, let's say, 500. I'm just placing a limit order. Uh, and the order goes through, right? It's showing rejected because of there's no money in the account or whatever. But yeah, the order
Right.
can be placed from it. Not just this,
That's
let's say
superb. So directly from the platform, the order can be placed.
if I want to add these three stocks to my watch list, I can do it from here. I just select them, I do a add to watch list.
All
It
right.
watch list, I say, let's say in large caps because these are large caps at the end of the day and the scripts are added to my watch list. Now I want to track my watch list जो मैंने धन के ऐप पे Moneyfy के through बनाया था, right? So I go to the watch list section. I can see these three stocks जो अभी मैंने add किया are here,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
All my other watch lists which I have created earlier. I can also track my portfolio. How is my portfolio doing over here? I can see my positions if I buy anything today or sell anything today and the orders. Whatever, like I see multiple orders failed today or cancelled. So whatever I did in the overall or any order that I placed, all of these things can be tracked. So the idea is there's just one space, you just log in there and you manage everything
Yeah.
end to
Superb. So, Hardik, thanks for taking us through such insightful details. It's been a fantastic discussion. I think Moneyfy users will really appreciate the fact that they can view all the details around market movement and at one place. And also, what happens is it enables better decision making and saves a lot of time. So, thanks a lot, Hardik, for sharing your expertise and taking time out today.
Thank you so much for having me. And yes, I mean, it was great to show you what the Scanx product can do, and hope Moneyfy users love using this.
Thank you, and a big thank you to all of you guys for watching. And hope you found this session valuable. And as we wrap up, remember to keep an eye on this space for more upcoming insightful sessions on investing in direct equity. We have plenty of more in store, covering topics ranging from FNOs and IPOs coming up soon. Thank you for joining us, guys, and have a wonderful day. We can't wait to see you guys again for the next webinar. Thanks, Hardik. Thank you, everyone.
Investments in the securities market are subject to market risk. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.